today I want to talk about creativity. It's a human quality that is at the heart of both of my consultancies, the Brand Conspiracy and Humanness. And creativity, it really is a human quality. It's a quality shared by every single human being on the planet. We are, as humans, creative by nature. In order to survive, we need to be creative. We need to think in ways that are new in order to react to circumstances, scenarios. I think, especially in the industry of advertising, creativity is sort of dominion is held by those with creative in their title, that therefore one person is more creative than another, or that creativity is, in order to be creative, you need to be an artist or a musician or something to do with the arts in general. And I guess we see these things as being creative, but it's not how I would see creativity. Real creativity is the surrender of the outcome. Real creativity is coming up with ideas that are unfamiliar, that are uncomfortable. It's the ability to transcend the constraints of the world that we already know. And why that's so hard, or it feels like creativity is something that's hard to tap into often, is because generally we like to stay in the space that we understand. We like to stay in the familiar. Especially the ego likes to say to us, we've got you this far, don't rock the boat, things are safe, this is working for us. And therefore, the idea of stepping away from the campfire into the darkness, into the unknown, is quite a daunting thing. It requires bravery and courageousness, but most importantly, like I said, it requires a surrender of the outcome. We hear a lot, lots of thought leaders share about things like being prepared to fail, failing 8 times, but then, on the 9th time succeeding. I like to interpret that as being, brave, being brave to step out into the unknown. And I think it's testament to the times that we live in that a lot of the ideas that come out are generally rehashed versions of something that already exists, which on its own merit isn't necessarily a bad thing. Innovation is often seen as, or can often manifest as, a tweak on something that already existed, an improvement, an evolution. But again, I wouldn't call that real creativity. Maybe ingenuity. But real creativity is about the process of making, as opposed to faking. Again, nothing wrong with faking. Great products have been generated by copying others, evolutions of things, making things better. But when it comes to that real idea of making, the best analogy that we like to give is around if I held up a portrait of Van Gogh's self-portrait, and then I held up one by a forger, and I asked you to compare the difference, and you would look very closely and you'd see maybe subtleties here and there, but really they're the same picture as far as the eye can tell at a distance. The difference, however, is the process. So when Van Gogh painted it, he had no idea where he was going to end up. The journey, the creative flow was the process. He sort of maybe knew where he wanted to start, but the journey of unfolding that piece of art was an unknown. When the forger starts, it actually doesn't matter where he starts. He can start in the top left and work his way down. The key thing for the forger is he knows exactly where he's going to end up. And this is the thing going on generally in the world today, is that we're only being as creative as our minds will allow us. We're only working within the parameters of what is familiar, rather than allowing ourselves to move into a space, a territory of thinking where we are being brave and we are moving into the unknown. And that's where new solutions come from. That's where real creativity can flourish. And it doesn't matter whether you work in HR, sales, finance, legal, insurance. All human beings have the capacity for creativity. They just need to be able to be given the space in which to think about it. And one might argue that why is one individual more creative than another? I would say probably one of the big factors is that they're braver. They're willing to push those boundaries. They're willing to take those risks. And the risks aren't actually ever even that real. It's just about pushing oneself out of what is comfortable and familiar.